which is simply the win
Ok, já už se s tom ztrácím. Nejsem sám? Nejsem sám, že ne?
probability at the time of this
Nepřipadám k škole už, jak v lavici, kámo.
particular item.
Čumím na tabuli a vím, že vím hovno. Další z videí, vole, který mě vyskakují už nevím jak dlouho, od Xpetu. Xpetu, to je ten Shen main, že jo. Napsal tézu na League of Legends a že prý to donutilo přestat hrát lolko, vole. To je jako fakt?
Greetings dear viewer.
Greetings dear viewer.
Still has a 54
Jo, a to je starší video, tak 3 měsíce, no.
15% win rate when purchased as the first legendary item on Shen in League of Legends. Does this mean that the item is good? No. Good players will actually tell you that, oh yeah, Heartsteel's win rate is inflated because it's a win more item, so it is purchased in winning situations. During the past 6 months, I wrote a 40-page master's thesis
40 stránek o tom napsal.
explaining why item statistics are flawed and how they can be improved. But let's see what Riot Freak thinks about Shen's item win rates
Já se teda takovým věcem vůbec nezabývám.
statistics.
If you, generally speaking, if you dig in and you say, oh, well, if you buy his third most common starting item, his win rate's actually 2% higher, that is almost always fake data. Any item that is not his most built item has a default inflated win rate because only players who are smart enough to identify this item is good are the ones who are buying it, which means they are already inflating the win rate by being good at the champion.
Freak is one of the most knowledgeable people about League of Legends statistics. He's worked on the game for so many years, he's casted the game.
A celkově jako všechny ty stránky, co ti raději, co je dneska S tier, co je A tier, B tier, tak všechny ti říkají něco jiného. Mi přijde, že všechny ty stránky, co jakože dřív to fungovalo, že dřív prostě byla nějaká určená meta a dneska žádná stránka prostě nemá pravdu v tom, co je nejsilnější a co je nejslabší. Mi přijde, že dneska se fakt dá hrát úplně všechno snad, v solo queue minimálně. V pro play vždycky meta nějaká je, to jo, ale v solo queue prostě můžeš fakt hrát úplně cokoliv a v OPG ti řekne, že S-tier junglerové jsou jinačí prostě než na UGG. A pak zase třetí stránka ti řekne úplně nějaký jiný čempy než ty první dvě. Fakt už se tím dneska nedá řídit, protože si všichni vemte svýho čempa, kterýho má to nejvíc her a který vás nejvíc baví a toho hrajte furt dokola. A vymasterujte ho prostě, jo. To je nejjednodušší, co můžete udělat na climb.
He's talked about the game ever since it began, right? But these statements are still just human intuition. Maybe Riot Games has some data that I don't. Most likely they actually have a lot of data that I don't.
Tak smějící se smajlík, pojďme se pobavit a chat taky smějící se smajlík. Jak s full APS up a hrát můžeš hrát jen myškou DDDD.
Oh my god.
But
dokoukám video, jo?
I've been looking into item win rates, and I think people understand when they look at, for example, Mei's win rate, right? You see that, okay, Mei's has 75% win rate, second item, I don't know, Orianna.
What the hell?
Syndra.
Děkuju gangrene, kámo. Oh my god. Oh my god, ty mě nenávidíš, jo?
Maybe Riot Games has some data that I don't. Most likely they actually have a lot of data that I don't. But I've been looking into item win rates, and I think people understand when they look at, for example, Mei's win rate, right? You see that, okay, Mei's has 75% win rate, second item, I don't know, Orianna, Syndra, you know? People can justify that. They're like, okay, well, it makes sense, because Mei's is a win more item. You purchase it only in situations when you are ahead, okay? So people then say that...
To nemá 70% win rate, protože prostě v hodně hrách ho nepostavíš ani ten Magi, to se tak nedá brát. Stavíš ho, když jsi ahead a když většinou vyhraješ, jo.
Yeah, you don't need to look.
Takže je to prostě inflated.
Look at Mei's win rate, right? But you can come up with the same logic for every single item and every single champion. Let's say you look at Varus, first item Locket, okay? Is it really good? People have been building Varus Locket first item, and I have top lane Varus in this game as well. But like, is it a good thing? It has a high win rate, but is the high win rate because the item is good? Or is it just because good players are building it? Because they watched Lol Dobby's video on Locket Rush Varus top lane. We cannot know this for sure by just looking at the win rate data, alright? Because the win rate data is biased. I will get a little bit more technical now, but I will make it so that everyone can understand it.
Ale i ty winrates těch čempů jsou takový skafty, já nevím, odkud to berou vždycky. Když jsem dával challengera, tak můj nejhranější čemp byla Vi a ta byla jako D tier, asi 45% winrate, to je jeden z nejhorších čempů. Já jsem s tím vyhrál třeba v posledních 10 her 8 no, v challengeru, o Grandmasteru až challengeru, no. Všechno se dá hrát, jen to musí hrát prostě dobře.
Okay.
Perfektně.
So whenever a person decides to purchase an item in League of Legends, that's a selection. It's a human selection, okay? So selection bias will be involved, naturally. That just means that I'm not randomly choosing my items. There is some kind of logic that I do, and I am a biased person, okay? So I am making biased decisions. That translates into the win rate data directly. An example of this is Mei's win rate, right? It's high because it's purchased in winning games. An alternative would be an item such as Sunfire Aegis for Shen, which is a safe defensive item. That might be purchased more often in games where you are losing. And in fact, I have data here to show this. So I'm looking at my thesis right now, and I have computed something called the initial win probability, or in the context of League of Legends, it's the purchase win probability. And the purchase win probability of Sunfire Aegis as the first item for Shen is 50.53%. Okay? Remember this number for now. Now I will explain what it means. In
Že jako v polovině hero koupíš. Chápu správně?
sports analytics, so baseball, if you've seen the movie Moneyball, that's a movie about sports analytics, okay? There's a common method called win probability estimation. And what that means is we're simply interested in the fact that, okay, we have team A and we have team B, and we want to know which team is winning and with what probability. You might have seen this, okay? You might have seen this before. If you watched my channel, you know about coaches, okay? So we've done some win probability estimation before. If you watched the 2023 LoL World Championships, you saw their win probability estimates, okay? But until now, I have not seen a good application for these. And this is where stuff gets really interesting, okay? Purchase win probability describes the average situation in which an item is purchased. Therefore, you can use it to deduce whether or not an item is purchased when behind or ahead, typically. So if we look at Heartsteel's purchase win probability, it is 53.66% compared to 50.53% for Sunfire Aegis. That means that whenever you purchase Heartsteel, we actually have data showing that you are 4% more likely at the time of purchase to be already winning the game. In other words, you are ahead in the game. And previously, using just naive win rate data, you didn't know this for sure. So you might not know what the situation is when an item is purchased. Okay? And this is really interesting now. So if we have access to win probability estimation models, there are some good papers. For example, Kim et al. 2021 describes the implementation of a deep neural network that is well calibrated for the win probability estimation. I will not explain calibration or neural network calibration in detail in this video, but know that there are methods that are reliable for estimating the win probability at each time step. Okay? So by using these win probability estimates, we can actually compute the unbiased estimate of impact for each item. And this is something called win probability added. Okay, this is interesting now. In my thesis, I define win probability added for League of Legends items as follows. We take the win probability at the time of selling the item, or alternatively when the game ends if the item remains in your inventory until the end of a match. Then we subtract the purchase win probability, which is simply the win
Ok, už se s tom ztrácím. Nejsem sám? Nejsem sám, že ne?
probability at the time of purchasing this
Nepřipadám ve škole už, jak v lavici, kámo.
particular item.
Čumím na tabuli a vím, že vím hovno.
By aggregating the win probability added for a particular item over thousands of matches, we obtain some kind of number that quantifies the estimated increase in win probability when you purchase this item. Let's make this more concrete again. I'm gonna show the win probability added as well as the purchase win probability for the 4 most popular legendary items for Shen. So here we have Titanic Hydra, Heartsteel, Sunfire Aegis, and Hollow Radiance. Okay. Let us begin by observing the win probability added of Titanic Hydra. It is the
Počkej, to nevidíte, že? Vy to nevidíte, počkej. Tak.
highest with 1.46%. This means that whenever you purchase Titanic Hydra, on average, you will be increasing your team's win probability by 1.46%. Heartsteel, which was the highest win rate item, comes in second place with a win probability added of 0.66%. But if you observe the win probability, the purchase win probability for Heartsteel, it is 54% or it is 53.66%, right? So this item is being systematically bought much more in much more winning situations than Titanic Hydra. Then if you look at Sunfire Aegis and Hollow Radiance, you notice that they are actually decreasing your win probability whenever you purchase them. So based on this data, I would not recommend you to build Sunfire Aegis or Hollow Radiance as first item on Shen. This data supports the building of Titanic Hydra in almost every scenario. However, this data was collected from, all Shen games Emerald Plus, right? So we are not narrowing down the context enough. By specifying the situations in which we are computing these statistics, we make the statistics more valuable. Because we can, for example, say that, okay, what about Shen versus a physical damage opponent? Or what about Shen versus a magic damage opponent? How does that change the statistics? And lucky for you guys, I have done the analysis. So I'm going to open up the second table here. And here we have the same statistics for Shen versus physical damage. And what we notice is that Titanic Hydra's win rate actually increases even more. Sorry. Well, the win rate does also, but the win probability added increases significantly. So now the Titanic Hydra win probability added is almost 2%, meaning that it is a good option versus physical damage champions. Now this might not be due to the fact that they deal physical damage, but rather that top lane physical damage champions are such that Titanic Hydra benefits you in those matchups. So it's not directly related to the physical damage component, but rather to the nature of champions that we are observing. Because they are mostly bruisers, right? Maybe some ADCs. And such interesting...
Protože Titanic Hydra je dobrá do bruiserů a AD champu, no. Do mageů zase tak ne, protože se k ním tolik nedostaneš, takže tu hydru tolik nevyužiješ.
Findings can be made by using these new win probability statistics, right? And lucky for you guys, okay, I have implemented this together with our developers at Coachless, so that we can actually observe this data for any
Ty magore, já se koukám do učebnice.
Champion and any particular item combination, as long as we have enough sample sizes. So if you want to play around with the data, coachless.gg. At the time of recording this video, I have applied for graduation, meaning that my student life is now past me. However, I will continue to do research on this topic by myself, and with the help of Coachless, I can hopefully do that as my job. For the fall
Že prostě napsal, vole, státnice, vole, na win probability itemu, nebo něco takového?
of 2024, I will not be uploading YouTube videos for, I think, roughly 90 days or 80
Tak snad ho nevyhodili ze školy, no?
80 days from the release of this video. The reason is that I am traveling the world and I'm working together with my colleagues to make Coachless into the best possible League of Legends improvement service. Now, it might seem drastic that I will not be making videos at this time, but I have to put my focus and effort into this product because I truly want it to succeed. I thank you so much for watching this video, and I will return in December 2024. Back for Christmas, guys, okay? That's when Shen technology returns. But for now, I wish you a wonderful fall, okay? In whatever endeavors you have, I wish you the very best of luck. And I hope we can still interact through our Discord server, because I will be active there. And I will also...
Jako odnesl jsem si z toho, že existuje ten, jak to říkal, kámo, win probability itemu. Jakože když koupíš Hearthstone na Shena, tak máš o 4% větší šanci na win. Máš 54% šanci na win. Zajímavý, jako jasně, dává to smysl, že některý čempové s jistýma itemama mají prostě o trochu větší šanci na win. Ne, že win rate, ale šanci na win. Protože win rate itemu je scuffed, prostě, protože je kupuješ třeba jenom v situacích, kdy vyhráváš, no. Takže nekupuješ v každé hře, takže nedá se to brát jako reálná statistika, no, ale jako zase tak mi to asi život nezměnilo tady to video. No nic, jdeme hrát AP Jaxe jenom jednou rukou, hoši.